السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. الحمد لله رب العالمين، أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى أزواجه وذريته كما صليت على آل إبراهيم، وبارك على محمد وعلى أزواجه وذريته كما باركت على آل إبراهيم إنك حميد مجيد. أما بعد, today it is Monday the 25th of Sha'ban 1443, and this matches the 28th of March 2022. We are still going through the book, The Digest of Madarij al-Salikin, and yesterday we started Manzilatul Ithar, the station of preferring others over oneself. And we reached the point where he started talking about maratibul jud, the different levels and degrees of generosity. He said, wal judu ashru maratib. He says generosity is upon 10 levels. إحداها, one of them, al-judu bin nafs, to be generous, to offer your own soul, your own self. وهو أعلى مراتبه, and this is the highest of the levels of generosity. كما قال الشاعر, as the poet has said, يجود بالنفس إذ ظن البخيل بها. He would offer himself, his own soul, when the stingy person would hold back and would keep it. والجود بالنفس أقصى غاية الجود, and to offer your own self, to be generous, to offer your own self, this is the utmost, the farthest point in generosity. Like the mujahid, he offers himself for the way of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. The second one is al-judu bil-riyasa, to be generous with your authority or your leadership or the position or post you have. وهو ثاني مراتب الجود. This is the second level of generosity. فيحمل الجواد جوده على امتهان رياسته. This generous person, his generosity will lead him to somehow look down upon, to lower or to lower his post, right? Usually when someone has a high post, he has authority, he starts becoming full of pride. He looks down upon people. This one, he doesn't do that. Rather, he says, امتهان رياسته. He would lower and use up his leadership or post or authority, والجود بها, and to be generous with it, والإيثار في قضاء حاجات الملتمس, and he would prefer the others, he would prefer them in terms of fulfilling their need and fulfilling the need of the person who requests things from him. So you're a man of authority, you have a position, you have a post, somebody comes to you, then you use that authority that Allah has given you to deliver benefit to the people. Right? Third, الثالث, الجود براحته ورفاهيته وإجمام نفسه. This person, he would be generous with his own rest, right? The time he should be resting, he offers it for the people to help them. And rafahiyah is good living, right? You are comfortable, you offer this, you be generous and leave out this comfort that you are in. وإجمام نفسه, same meaning, you basically relieving and having yourself enjoy. You leave all of that, the enjoyment, the comfort, the time, you give that away, you be generous using that up. فيجود بها تعبا وكدا في مصلحة غيره. He offers all of this, tiring himself and putting himself in a hard position or in hardship, كد, difficult time and toiling and sweating for the benefit of someone else other than himself. Right? ومن هذا, and part of this, يعني you are giving away your comfort and enjoyment and your rest, right? Using that instead to help the people. He said part of this, جزء من هذا جود الإنسان بنومه ولذته لمسامره. For the person to be generous with his sleep and his enjoyment for the one whom he is spending time with, the companion whom he is spending time with. Summer usually, musamara usually later, evening time, right? So someone came to you, you want to sleep, you are tired, right? But then you give that away and you still continue to comfort that person who came as a visitor. كما قيل, as it was said, this line of poetry, متيم بالندى. He is someone who is infatuated with generosity, so much in love with being generous and offering things to people. لو قال سائله, if the one who's asking him says to him, هب لي جميع كرى عينيك لم ينم. If the one who is asking him, requesting from him, tells him, give me all of the sleep that's in your eyes. Kara means النوم. Give me all the sleep that is in your eyes, then he wouldn't go to sleep. He wouldn't go to sleep and he will stay up. He will give that away, the sleep away for being generous towards the one who's with him. الرابعة الجود بالعلم وبذله. The fourth one, to be generous by offering the knowledge to people. ومن الجود به, and part of that, part of this generosity, أن تبذله لمن لم يسألك عنه أو لا يسألك عنه. That you offer it to the one who did not ask you for it or who does not ask you for it. So they're not asking you to teach them, but you offer that, you start it, you initiate it. بل تطرحه أو تطرحه عليه طرحا. Rather, you actually toss, right? You present this knowledge, all the presentation. Although they didn't ask you, but then you want to help them, you want to inform them, so you do that. ومن الجود به, part of this type of generosity, أن السائل إذا سألك عن مسألة, that the questioner, if he asks you about something, an issue, استقصيت له جوابها جوابا شافيا, then you would comprehensively reply to it a complete healing reply. لا يكون جوابك له بقدر ما تدفع به الضرورة. Your reply to him wouldn't be just that which is sufficient, that which would repel his necessity or his need, just fulfill his need and that's it. Not that, he says, كما كان بعضهم يكتب في جواب الفتية نعم أو لا. As some used to write in answering the religious verdict, he says نعم, yes, or لا, no. مقتصرا عليها, restricting himself to that. He says part of you being generous is to give a complete, sufficient reply, not just what fulfills the need, yes or no. You give him more than what he needs. That's part of being generous in helping people, informing them. وقد شاهدت من شيخ الإسلام ابن تيمية في ذلك أمرا عجيبا. He said, I have seen from Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah in this regard something that is really amazing. كان إذا سأل عن مسألة حكمية. If he was asked about a question or an issue that requires a ruling, a religious ruling, ذكر في جوابها مذاهب الأئمة الأربعة. He would mention in the reply the positions of the four Imams. إذا قدر عليه, if he is able to offer that. ومأخذ الخلاف, and where is it or how is it that they are differing, where everyone took his position which led to disagreement. He would mention why they disagreed. وترجيح القول الراجح. He would not stop there, but rather he will opt for, or he will mention the position that is the stronger position, because the scholars have differed, so he will mention different positions. Then he says, this one is the one more like it. This one is the correct or sound position. وذكر متعلقات المسألة التي ربما تكون أنفع للسائل من مسألته. He would mention things that are linked and attached to the question or to the issue, which are which could be more beneficial to the questioner than the question he asked. فيكون فرحه بتلك المتعلقات واللوازم أعظم من فرحه بمسألته. So the one who asks the question and gets the reply, he will be happier with those issues that he mentioned attached to the issue, and what he mentioned which necessitate from the question that was asked. He would be happy with those things that are mentioned, those extra things that are mentioned. He would be happier with those than his own question that he asked. Right? So, famous hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam when he asked about making wudu from the water, sea water. So he said, هو الطهور ماؤه الحل ميتته. He answered that the water of the sea is pure. That's what the questioner asked. He added to that the fish that dies in the sea is allowed to be consumed. Right? Meta of the sea, meta, which is the dead animal, here refers to the fish. Right? Normally, the dead animals are haram to consume. You cannot eat dead animal. But then the fish in the sea, it's okay. So he added to the question. It seems that this person now is asking. Why is he asking? Supposedly he's traveling, maybe in the ship, maybe. Why is he asking about making wudu from sea water? So since he's going through the sea, well, here you go. You have the fish, you can eat it. If you grab it from the water, you can consume that. And this could be maybe as beneficial as the question he asked, or even more. Right? So because he answered him and gave him more information. عليه الصلاة والسلام. الخامسة, number 5, الجود بالنفع بالجاه. To be generous by benefiting people with your status. كالشفاعة, like interceding for someone else. والمشي مع الرجل إلى ذي سلطان ونحوه, and to go along with the person to someone, a man of authority or the likes of that. So you yourself, you don't have a position or a post or authority, but then you are recognized within the people, right? So you go with him to fulfill his need, right? To intercede on his behalf. Maybe he wants to propose to a girl to get married. Maybe he wants something to be done in the government office, you go along with him and help him, right? Because of your status, your fame, the people know you, so you go with him and help him. السادسة, number 6, الجود بنفع البدن على اختلاف أنواعه. To be generous by benefiting others with your body, right? The various types of benefit. And he mentions the hadith here, كما قال النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم: يصبح على كل سلامة من أحدكم صدقة. Every day in the morning, there is a charity that is to be paid on every joint in the body. This is a voluntary charity, تطوع, that you should give for every joint in your body. كل يوم تطلع فيه الشمس. Every day on which the sun rises, in which the sun rises. يعدل بين اثنين صدقة. He makes justice. He brings justice between two. So they are quarreling and he judges between them in justice, or helps them to resolve the matter fairly and justly. This is sadaqah, right? This is a sadaqah. وتعين الرجل في دابته, and you help the person regarding his riding animal, his vehicle. فتحمله عليها, so you help him go on top of his riding animal. أو يرفع له عليها متاعه صدقة, or you help him carry his stuff, put his stuff, load his stuff on it, load his whatever he's taking, you help him load it on the animal. That is an act of charity. والكلمة الطيبة صدقة, and the good word is a charity, right? The good word is a charity, right? وبكل خطوة يمشيها الرجل إلى الصلاة صدقة, and every step that the man makes to the prayer is an act of charity. ويميط الأذى عن الطريق صدقة, and he removes the harm or the harmful object from the way. That is a charity. A thorn, a branch of a tree that's in the road, garbage that flew, with the wind, like happens here, right? In the middle of the road, a box, you get up, you get out and take it out and just remove it from the way of the people. All of these are acts of charity that you do with your body, right? So this hadith in Bukhari and Muslim, in one narration it says 360. There are 360 joints in your body, and you are supposed to give a charity on every joint in your body. So you are supposed to do 360 actions, charitable acts, 360 daily, right? One hadith, it says, if you do that, فَقَدْ زَحْزَحَ نَفْسَهُ عَنِ النَّارِ, he pushed himself away from the fire and he will be entered into paradise. If you do that on a daily basis, right? On a daily basis. So these acts of charity, which are part of the generosity, part of al-Ithaar, preferring others over yourself, right? So this well-known hadith, and is always mentioned regarding the excellence of Salat al-Duha. If you pray the 2 rak'at of Duha, those actions, if you do that, you judge fairly between two people, you help someone to ride his animal, or you help him carry his load on the animal and the likes. يعني imagine those, they will take a good amount of time. Rasulullah sallallahu he says also that what suffices you from that is the 2 rak'at of duha that you pray. Right? So this is a very rewarding 2 rak'at. Right? And you can pray more. But this is one of the ahadith, and he's mentioning here that the 6th level of generosity is benefiting others with your body, because you're preferring others over yourself. You're helping them, you're offering a helping hand, you are giving them your time and your abilities, right? This is the number 6, level 6 of Ithar. Number 7 is even more amazing, this one. Al-Judu bil-Ird. You be generous, you exercise generousness, open-handedness by your own honor. Your own honor. عرض. He says, كجود أبي ضمضم من الصحابة رضي الله عنه. Like the generosity of Abi Damdam from as-Sahaba رضي الله عنهم. Now this narration has some weakness in it. It's a weak narration. But then it is authentic from the statements of one of the tabi'een, famous tabi'i, Qatada ibn Da'ama, Qatada al-Sadusi, rahimahullah. He mentioned it as something from the nations that were before us, a man from the nations that were before us. This narration mentions Abu Damdam or Abu Daygam from the Sahaba, but the narration itself is a weak narration. But then there is this statement of Qatada from the Tabi'een, which says, كان إذا أصبح قال, when he wakes up in the morning, he says, اللهم إنه لا مال لي فأتصدق به على الناس. Oh Allah, I have no money to donate to the people. وقد تصدقت عليهم بعرضي. So I have donated to them my honor. How? What does he mean? فمن شتمني أو قذفني فهو في حل. So the one who insults me or he curses me, right? Or he accuses me, he casts an accusation against me, then he is absolved. He forgives him. So he doesn't have any money to give to the people. So he says what he will do, he will be generous still. If they wrong me, I will forgive. If they say bad things about me, I forgive them. Right? Accuse me of things I am innocent of, they are forgiven. Right? Every day he wakes up in the morning, he does that. He doesn't have money, so he says he will be okay if the people somehow violate him regarding his honor, right? Say bad things about him, they are absolved. He will forgive them. He said, this is Ibn al-Qayyim here, وفي هذا الجود من سلامة الصدر وراحة القلب والتخلص من معاداة الخلق ما فيه. He says that in this generosity, right, there is in it of salamat as-sadr. It makes your chest, it makes your heart wholesome, right, healthy, makes it sound upright, right? You are free from anything against the people, right? Although they have done wrong to you, but then you are completely freeing yourself. You're not busying yourself with anybody else who said bad things about you. In this causes your heart to be completely, your chest completely clean, right? وراحة القلب gives you a lot of comfort for your heart, right? Imagine, always thinking about those who said this Why would he say this about me? Right? والتخلص من معاداة الخلق, also saving yourself from enmity towards or with the people, right? This type of generosity, right? So this is the case. Yani one of these types of generosity is this. He accepts that he will forgive the people who say bad things about him, right? And يعني the reward is great, but I think to practice it is not that easy. That's why the scholars, they say, if you said something bad about someone else and he did not hear it, right, and now you want to repent and you fix your, don't go and tell him if he doesn't know, right? If you said something bad about him to fulan and fulan and fulan, you go to those people, you tell them, you know what, I said that day this thing and that thing about him. He is actually free from those. I was wrong. I was wrong telling these things about him. He doesn't have those bad things, or he didn't do this. But if you go and tell him now, I said this and that about you, so please forgive me. Now he had a clean chest. Now you put him in trouble. Now he may be able to do it. He might not be able to do it, especially if he was someone nice, someone very close, your neighbor, or someone who was always good to you. Like he might not gulp it, like I was always good to him. Why on earth he would say that about me? Not all people have this type of clean, sound, upright heart, right? Who doesn't want any enmity with no one. He is ready to forgive. And he realizes that he cannot donate. So here we go. I'm going to donate this, right? And in my honor, I free the people from whatever violations they say about me. If they violate my honor or right, I will forgive. Right? The forgiveness, this is by choice, and this is not not forgive them because I'm afraid or I can't do anything about it. He chooses to forgive, and this is the first thing in the morning. Starts his day with this. Everyone who says something bad about me is absolved. I'm not going to go after him. Not in this dunya, not in the akhirah. Right? Next type of generosity, number 8. الجود بالصبر والاحتمال والإغضاء. To be generous by being patient, by enduring and withstanding. والإغضاء, to overlook things, to disregard. Sometimes you see something, but it's as if you didn't see it. وهذه مرتبة شريفة من مراتبه. This is one of the noble and high type of generosity. وهي أنفع لصاحبها من الجود بالمال. And it is more beneficial to the one who does it than being generous in terms of spending money, donating money. فمن صعب عليه الجود بماله فعليه بهذا الجود. So the one whom the generosity with the money is difficult for him, right? Then let him stick to this type of generosity. Being patient and enduring, overlooking, disregarding, right? And the people, you be patient with them, endure and withstand, and overlook, disregard, right? If you can't pay money, or you can't, maybe you have money, but it's difficult to give it, as he's saying here. So this is one of the ways you can be generous with the people, by being patient with them. He said, فإنه يجتني ثمرة عواقبه الحميدة في الدنيا قبل الآخرة. For he will reap the fruits of it, the praiseworthy fruits and ends of this type of generosity, in this worldly life he will get the reward before the next life. He said, وَهَذَا جُودُ الْفُتُوَّةِ. Right? This is the generosity of futuwa. Futuwa is like chivalry, right? This basically the quality of having courage, having honor, courtesy, being just, right? Helping the weak. You're ready to help it. This is chivalry, right? Futuwa. This is very close to the word in Arabic, futuwa, right? We can say heroism, right? And really, the one who does that is a hero. You know, he's with the people, and he takes. They push and they push, and he's right. In one of the ahadith, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after the battle of Hunain, the people came storming, yani, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, asking him to give them. And they, one comes from here, one comes from here. And he was, alayhi salatu wasalam, yani, close to a tree that is a thorny tree. And they were getting closer and closer, asking and asking, to a point that the tree, you know, took off his rida, the top cover, the top part of the, right? So it got stuck in the thorn of the tree. So he was saying, "Oh people, let me take my garment back." Right? He said to them, right? لو كان لي عدد هذه العظاه نعما لقسمته بينكم. He said, if I have number of these, they were, عظاه is like small thorny trees that are in the desert. He said, if I have so many of them, he said, if I have cattle in the number of these little thorny trees, I would have distributed all of that to you. عليه الصلاة والسلام. He said, ثم لا تجدوني بخيلا ولا كذوبا ولا جبانا. Then you will not find me lying, you will not find me a stingy person or miserly, and you will not find me a coward. Right? So he's described, يعني, towards the end of his life, عليه الصلاة والسلام, حطمه الناس. The companion is describing him, that the people, يعني, overtired him, عليه الصلاة والسلام. He grew old because the people, they come and ask, they want this, give me that, and he was always helping the people, عليه الصلاة والسلام. So that's number 8, to be patient, to endure, to overlook the mistakes of the people, to just let things go, help them even though they are dealing with the public is always not many times, it's not that nice, right? He says, number 9, الجود بالخلق والبشر والبسطة. To be generous with behavior, character, and bishr, cheerfulness, والبسطة, to be having a pleasant face, you know, being pleasant faced. You meet the people with cheerfulness, with a smile, with a pleasant face. بسطة. وهو فوق الجود بالصبر والاحتمال والعفو. This is now above being generous with being patient, enduring, and forgiving and pardoning. وهو الذي بلغ بصاحبه درجة الصائم القائم. And this is what led the person who has it the level of the fasting person and the one who's praying the night prayer. Right? So, yani, on top of all of the pardon, the endurance, the forgiveness, the offering your, right? On top of that, you are dealing with them in a pleasant way and cheerfully, right? Because you could help, but then you be right, giving, mashallah, and helping and patient, but then a little bit sharp, sharp tongue or gloomy face. Yani on top of that, now you do all of this, and on top you are cheerful and nice, smiley face and pleasant faced. And he said this is what led this person to reach the famous hadith. درجة الصائم القائم. The one who has good character, he will have the same level of the one who is fasting during the day and praying during the night. And those actions, many people run away from them because they require effort to fast, pray at night. This person, he may not be doing this, but he has the level of those people who fast and pray. He said, وَالْعَبْدُ لَا يُمْكِنُهُ أَنْ يَسَعَ النَّاسَ بِمَالِهِ. The servant of Allah, he will not be able to house and cover all the people with his wealth. And I said many times before, the famous hadith, إنكم لن تسعوا الناس بأموالكم. You will not be able to cover, to house all the people with your wealth. If you are a millionaire or a billionaire and you give the people 1 cent, 1 cent, everyone gets 1 cent. The people, they will take everything. You cannot cover them all. You cannot. But the hadith says that you can do this with your behavior. Right? You can try to do that. Right? ويمكنه أن يسعهم بخلقه واحتماله. Ibn al-Qayyim, he said, he may not be able to cover all the people with his money, but then he can house all of them with his behavior, khuluq, good character, and ihtimal, him enduring and withstanding. Last one, number 10, generosity, right? الجود بتركه ما في أيدي الناس عليهم. To be generous by leaving what is in the hands of the people, leaving it with them, on them, with them, right? Leaving it with them. فلا يلتفت إليه. So he doesn't turn to it. He doesn't pay attention to it, right? ولا يستشرف له بقلبه. He doesn't even look up to it by his heart, right? So someone has something, he doesn't pay attention to it, and he doesn't even say, oh, maybe he will give it to me. Maybe if I, give him a look at it, right? A bad look at it. Okay, you want this, take it, right? He doesn't even look up to it with his heart. لا يستشرف إليه بقلبه. He doesn't look up to it with his heart. It's not on his mind even. ولا يتعرض له بحاله. He doesn't expose himself to it, or he doesn't ask for it by his condition. As I told you, you give that look, or you feel, oh, I'm this, I'm that, so the people have to now give you, and right, because you said some words that made them react, right? Oh, he needs this, he needs that, so now he doesn't do that, right? He doesn't even يتعرض له بحاله. He does not even come across, he doesn't put himself in a way that he will be known, it will be known from his condition that he wants this and he wants that. ولا لسانه. He doesn't say anything by his tongue in a way that they will know what he needs. وهذا هو الذي قال عبد الله بن المبارك إنه من جود البذل. This is what Abdullah ibn Mubarak said, that it is from the generosity of offering, right? You offer the people that which is yani, not giving them something physical or material, money or whatever, but then you are generous by offering them what they already have. You don't want it. You are not interested in it. That statement was mentioned in the very beginning. Let me say it again. He says سخاء النفس عما في أيدي الناس أفضل من سخاء النفس بالبذل. He said, for you to have a generous soul in a way that you don't want what the people have in their hands, you're not interested in what they own, right? This is better than you having a generous soul or a generous self by giving them. Don't give them, but just don't wish to take away what they already have. Right? Don't give them, but don't wish what they already have. And I mentioned before that he was saying, Ibn al-Qayyim rahimahullah, in his other book, that the person may be very generous and even more generous than the people who give, but he doesn't give them anything. How? By this. He is not interested in what they have. Just, I mean, they have it, may Allah bless them for it. Right? Unlike those who, right? يعني سبحان الله, يعني the way they handle themselves and the way they deal with people, you can tell the greed, right? And I remember one day it was very strange in a shawarma place. The person is offering, the guy is working, wrapping those, and one of the customers, he says, why you put less for me? You put for that one more. Put for me like you put for him. So, subhanallah al-azim. Yani his hand was a little bit generous now with someone. And you already picked up on that. Even yani, how much is that? Few grams of shawarma? But then this is how some people are, right? And some people have worse than that, right? So for you to have a generous soul in a way that you have the chasteness, you have the chastity, you hold yourself from wanting what other people have. Ya akhi, may Allah bless them with what they have. Don't aside from those who give it a look where it will be destroyed, والعياذ بالله, they don't even say mashallah, right? طيب. He said ولكل مرتبة من مراتب الجود مزيد وتأثير خاص في القلب والحال. He said that every level and degree of those levels of generosity that were mentioned, each one of them has extra reward and extra effect, تأثير, effect. خاص, special effect it will have في القلب والحال, in your heart and on your spiritual condition. Even all of these 10 different ones, each one of them has something more about it, something more special about it that will have its impact on your heart and on your spiritual condition. والله سبحانه قد ضمن المزيد للجواد. Allah Azza wa Jal has guaranteed more and extra for the generous person. وَالْإِتْلَافَ لِلْمُمْسِكِ, and guaranteed also the destruction for the one who has a tight hand, who holds back, who is a miser, right? Wallahu al-musta'an, and from Allah we seek the help. Allah says, as in the authentic hadith Qudsi, أنفق يا ابن آدم أنفق عليك. Spend, O son of Adam, I will spend over you. Right? So you give the same reward. The action you do, you will have the same exactly, as a reward for it. You give, you are given, right? And the two angels every day, every morning, they make dua. Allahumma a'ti munfiqan khalafan. Oh Allah, give the one who gives, give him a replacement. And the other angel says, Allahumma a'ti mumsikan talafan. Oh Allah, give the one who holds his hand back, give him destruction. And this is dua of the angels on a daily basis. Right? So everyone needs to think what to give on a daily basis. And we have 10 ways. It's not only you give by money, because you might not have it, but there are different ways of jood, different ways of generosity. He listed 10 of them. We ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help us to listen to the statement and follow the best of it. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. Tomorrow inshallah منزلة الخلق, character or behavior or good character. inshallah tomorrow بإذن الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.